5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
In 2019, millions of Indians watched the launch of our most ambitious lunar mission till date. Over 950 crores had been spent and the nation's pride was on the line. Narendra Modi watched from mission control as the lunar lander made its final heart-stopping descent. The communication was lost. The Vikram lander had crashed into the lunar surface. It was the 6th of September 2019. The vessel, carrying a lot of hope and precious equipment to study the moon's surface, stopped responding. It was a sad day for Indians all around the world, and the ISRO chief broke down into tears and the Indian Prime Minister was seen consoling him. Despite this failure, this mission gave a new direction to the Indian Space Agency, the ISRO. Throughout 90s, ISRO has created one of the most efficient space programs in the world. It has been almost 4 years since Chandrayaan 2 fell short of expectations, but the memories are still carved in the minds of Indians. And now, India is gearing up to make history. Chandrayaan 3 is all set to launch India's largest rocket. LVM-3 stands assembled at the Satish Dhawan Space Center in Andhra Pradesh. This is Chandrayaan 3, ISRO's ambitious mission to the moon and the third big attempt. Lunar missions have been launched by India earlier as well, but landing on the moon is a different game itself. After we witnessed a heartbreak in 2019 with the crash of Vikram lander, it has been 4 years since that incident and Indian Space Research Organization is ready again.
Plus 5 seconds.
Lift off normal.
Here we have a majestic lift-off of LVM-3 M4 rocket carrying India's prestigious Chandrayaan 3 spacecraft.
P2 tracking.
प्रज्वलन और सफलतापूर्ण उत्थापन LVM-3 M4 रॉकेट का। यह भीमकाय रॉकेट आसमान को चीरते हुए अपनी भयानक दहाड़ से चारों ओर कंपन उत्पन्न कर रहा है। इसे हम यहाँ महसूस कर सकते हैं और यही दहाड़ है जो वैज्ञानिकों को रोमांचित करती है।
But there are some fundamental questions about this mission. First of all, what are the objectives of Chandrayaan 3 mission? What have we learned from the past mistakes and how are we improving it? Specifically, we'll discuss 5 major differences between Chandrayaan 2 and Chandrayaan 3. And finally, why is it important to spend money on ISRO and why this mission is so important for our country. India is about to launch Chandrayaan 3 and the cost of this mission is around 615 crores. This is ISRO's most difficult mission till date, and this mission has 3 major objectives. 1. To safely land on the lunar surface. 2. It will deploy a rover on the lunar surface. And 3. Conduct scientific experiments on the moon. The spacecraft has recently launched on 14th July at 2:35 pm from the second launch pad at the Satish Dhawan Space Center in Andhra Pradesh. The landing is expected to occur on 23rd August this year. It weighs approximately 1,470 kilos and its dimensions are about 8.5 feet long, 6 feet wide and 3 feet high. The Pragyan rover, which is the lander's payload, will exit the land upon touchdown. The 26 kilo vehicle has 6 wheels and it is equipped with a solar panel for power. And it carries 2 cameras for navigation and it will be capable of moving at the speed of 1 centimeter per second on the lunar surface. There is also an umbilical connector or a cord that connects it to the spacecraft physically. Now let's start by discussing why is Chandrayaan 3 so important for India. Earth is approximately 384,000 kilometers away from the moon and it is considered one of the most difficult journey for an aircraft to travel from Earth to moon. When we talk about moon landings, it reminds us of Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin. But a very few people know that before America landed the moon, USSR reached the moon with Lunar 2. That too even 10 years before the Apollo 11 mission. Yes, Russia has never sent humans to the moon, but it was the first to reach the moon. There are only 3 countries who have successfully landed on the moon: America, Russia and China. Yes, we definitely reached the moon in 2008 through Chandrayaan 1, but it actually crashed on the moon's surface. It wasn't a soft landing. A soft landing means a safe landing. That is, the spacecraft should be safe after landing. 4 years ago, the main objective of the Chandrayaan 2 was to execute a soft landing on the moon. which it failed to do. Chandrayaan's launch was successful. In fact, we even successfully completed the distance of 384,000 kilometers from Earth to Moon. But while landing, we were only half a kilometer away from the surface of the Moon, but we could not land because of a minor software glitch. The plan was that Vikram rover would study the Moon's surface for 14 days and send us the information. But the mission was left incomplete due to the failure of communication devices. Now Chandrayaan 3 wants to rectify this mistake. This is a golden opportunity for India to show the world what we are capable of. The Earth is tidally locked to the Moon, meaning that only one side of the Moon is always visible to Earth and not the other side. 41% of the Moon still remains hidden from the Earth. A large part of the south pole of the Moon hasn't even seen sunlight for billions of years. And there are a lot of large craters on the south pole of the Moon. Craters are these holes or hollow areas on the Moon which are created by impact of meteors, volcanic activity or any kind of explosion. By studying these craters, we can get important information about the origin of our solar system. It is believed that water can be hidden in these craters. And this is not little bit of water. I'm talking about 100 billion tons of water. It is also considered to be a source of essential resources like ammonia, mercury, silver, sodium, etc. So it is quite obvious now that it is a big achievement to reach the Moon. But what are we doing different this time so that we don't face the same consequences we faced with Chandrayaan 2? There are 5 main differences or improvements you can say in Chandrayaan 3 from Chandrayaan 2. Number 1 is payload. Payload is basically loads or parts that are carried by the space vehicle for its operation. Our payload in 2019 mission was a bit more complicated. There were 3 main components: the lander, the rover and the orbiter. In 2023, our payload has been simplified. This time we only have the rover and the lander. Our orbiter completed the mission last time, so we don't need to include it this time. This is because the orbiter from the previous mission is still functional and the data will still be available from it. And number 2, power lander. The legs of the lander have been made stronger than the earlier version so that it can resist the impact of the landing and survive the landing. The Vikram lander is named after the father of the Indian space program, Vikram Sarabhai. Earlier, our engines were not powerful enough so it couldn't reduce its speed before landing, and it fell 750 meters away from the spot it was actually supposed to land. The engine capacity of our lander has also been increased. Number 3, new technologies and instruments. The Moon is a great place to study Earth, from which we can collect data about our Earth and plan future missions. They can be used for weather pattern detection as well. Chandrayaan 3 is going to have an instrument named SHAPE, SHAPE, that is Spectro-polarimetry of habitable planet Earth. SHAPE will read Earth's data and use it to find habitable exoplanets outside our solar system. Number 4, launch vehicle. Chandrayaan 3 is very important, so it is launched by the LVM-3 launch vehicle, which is capable of carrying 30% more weight than our first GSLV Mark II launch vehicle. And number 5 is the cost. We launched Chandrayaan 2 in 2019 for approximately 970 crores. But now the total budget of Chandrayaan 3 is going to be approximately 615 crores. Even the Hollywood space movies like Interstellar and Gravity, which are based on space, were more expensive than this. This is the proof of our increasing efficiency. और इंडिया की तो स्पेशलिटी ही है सस्ता और टिकाऊ चीजें बनाना. But how much money are we spending on these space programs compared to other countries like America and China? We have been increasing our budgets consistently for our space programs since last 20 years, but it only consists 0.8% of our GDP. As I told you before, only 3 countries have successfully landed their spacecrafts in the Moon: America, Russia and China. And all of these missions were government sponsored with decades of research and development. The issue in India is we have marginally increased the budget of our space programs, but we are nowhere close to these advanced economies like America and China. According to Statistica, United States government spent almost $62 billion on space programs in 2022, making it the country with the highest expenditure in the world, followed by China with government expenditure on space programs of almost $12 billion. And India stood at just $2 billion. But why are space programs so important for India? It's not just about reaching the moon, it has more benefits than you think. When the Fani cyclone came in 2019, ISRO's satellite gave us warning about it. Due to this information from these satellites, 11.5 lakh people were safely evacuated from Odisha. Today, Odisha has become number 1 in disaster management. ISRO gives us data about our geography, and using this data, we can give guidance to our farmers. By getting information about earthquakes, cyclones, and floods in advance, we can be better prepared and reduce the damage. And all this is possible because of our satellites. But how is it so important for India, and how will it affect our economy? Till date, ISRO has launched a total of 239 satellites for 28 countries. The satellite launching industry has become a $13 billion industry today, and it's going to be $24 billion in the next 5 years. If we can capture even 20% of that industry, it will be a huge boost to our economy. India is now a signatory in the Artemis Accords. It is an effort to send humans to the moon again by 2025. But that's for later. Right now, all our hopes are riding on Chandrayaan 3. Can this mission establish India among the world's space leaders? The US aims to send astronauts on the moon within this decade with its Artemis mission. China and Russia are spending billions of dollars in the space programs. China also has its own space station. Reports say that it has even planned mining the moon for minerals. India is emerging as a key player in the global space sector. Along with Chandrayaan 3, we also have Aditya L1 lined up with it, which is expected to take off this month. It will be India's space mission to study the sun. And then there is Gaganyaan mission, which aims to launch Indian astronauts into the space. This mission is still in making, but significant developments can be seen this year. It could even launch by the end of this year. Indian space industry is booming, to say the least. Excitement and expectations are very high for the launch of Chandrayaan 3. Will India make history this time? The countdown has begun. Jai Hind. If you want to know the mystery of the sinking of the Titanic, you can watch this video. And if you want to know about the OceanGate submarine which went to watch the Titanic underwater, you can watch this video. Thank you for watching and see you in the next one.